Automated tasks for care plans. Automated tasks was added in the first release of 2020. Automated tasks allow you to create follow-up tasks based on something that happens in the edge. The ones that apply to care plans are going to be when a care plan is sold or when a repair is picked up with a care plan SKU on it. We'll look at both of those. So all of automated tasks are created under administrative tasks automation rules. You're going to add a rule and you're going to name it. So if this rule is going to be every time a care plan is sold, we want to set a reminder to the associate to call them in 5 months to get it in for clean and check. So we're going to call this care plan initial clean and check. When do you want this to happen? Well, you're selling a care plan at a sale, so when a sale is committed is the initial sale. So we're going to do sale committed. What is the trigger? When a care plan is sold. If we just leave it as that, it will create a task every time a care plan is sold. We can select a trigger or a filter, and that can be items. So only when a care plan is sold on an engagement ring, only when a care plan is sold on items that are over $1,000. You could filter the items that are kicking off this particular trigger. I'm going to leave it blank and say every time I sell a care plan. Then it wants to know, who should the task be for? Well, I want my associate that sold it to follow up. So it's going to be the primary associate. You could choose a specific associate, or you can make it anyone, which will show on the calendar for that day and says someone needs a call. Will not filter to one particular associate. How many days out will this task be created? We're always going to do it on due date. If there's a range, you could do it on start date, but 90% of what we're doing here is a due date. Call them on this day. Then you have the option of the number of days or number of months. So if I want them to call in 5 months to say, hey, next month you need to bring this in, or if I want them to call in 5.5 months, I could use a number of days. So if I was to do that, I could choose something like 165 days. So the task will be there 15 days before that customer should be coming in to do that. If you want to start and due date, you can set the time range in between the two of them. I'm not going to do that. Subject. Call customer for initial clean and check. If I have a script that I want them to use, I could put that in here. I don't have to put details if I don't want to. I can set a category, whether it's inventory, customer, vacation, cleaning, website, whatever it may be. This is more of a follow-up, or it's actually for calling them a repair, so I could choose what I want it to be. Priority, medium's good. And when they do close this task, do I want them to put notes? If I do, I can check that box. Now, what's going to happen is that rule is set. So the very next time someone sells a care plan, they will automatically get a task set up on the calendar to follow up. The other way to do this is when a repair is picked up. So the initial one says, hey, come in 6 months. I can also say every time a care plan is brought in for this task, or every time an item is brought in for this task, I want to follow up. So care plan repair follow-up. So every single time a customer comes in with a care plan covered repair, I want my associate to follow up a week later and make sure everything is good. So on that, we're going to filter based on repairs. And we're going to trigger it when a repair is picked up. But now we only want the ones that apply to care plans. Even if you're not using tasks for anything else, there's always going to be care plan tasks. So my filter is going to be on SKUs. And when I open that, I'm going to have a section that's called care plan. I can narrow it to a particular one, or I could say just anytime a care plan SKU is used. So if I click OK on that, again, I want my associate who took it in to follow up. I want a due date, and I want them to follow up in 7 days. care plan repair follow-up. Again, I have details if I want. I can make that a follow-up. And I can say I want notes. Now, anytime a care plan is sold or a care plan SKU is picked up, it will create a task. So we're going to just go ahead and sell an item. And we're selling it using Nancy Gem. And what we'll do is we will go and look up on the calendar to see that task. So we're going to sell something. And we're going to sell a care plan on it. And if you watch in the bottom right-hand corner, it is going to automatically create the task. And you actually might not see it the way my system's recording, but it'll create a follow-up task for the repair. Now I have a lot of tasks set, so a lot of them came up. But now, 165 days from today, a task was created for Nancy to follow up. If I want to look at that, what I can do is I can go to the calendar. And at first, it's going to bring me up today because it always comes up to today on the calendar. But I'm going to say I only want the stuff for Nancy. And once it narrows down to Nancy's calendar, we are going to go ahead and change our month to April. And we'll look at this by the month. There it is. It was actually in not April, but March. So if I look at her task, Nancy Gem, call for CC reminder. If I open that up, it is attached directly to the customer. It's attached directly to the sale. It's attached directly to the service also. So everything is right from here, so I can see everything that's going on. I can make my phone call and say, hey, don't forget, you need to bring that in for clean and check. So if you are using care plans, you also have access to automated tasks based on when a care plan is sold or when a care plan task is picked up through repairs.